shaping up to be a very involved affair. The word extravagant has been used.
What good is the word extravagant if it can't be used to describe a royal wedding?
What happens when the most terrifying mafia family in the world suddenly realizes they can't afford to pay their electric bill? For years, House Lannister operated on a single terrifying slogan: a Lannister always pays his debts. That phrase projected infinite wealth, infinite security, and absolute dominance. But in Season 3, Tyrion Lannister inherits the title of Master of Coin, opens the royal ledgers, and makes a horrifying discovery. The crown is entirely, irredeemably broke. They owe millions to the Iron Bank, but worse, they are financially hostage to their new allies, House Tyrell. We are about to conduct a clinical and behavioral audit of the financial negotiation between Tyrion Lannister and Olenna Tyrell. On paper, Tyrion summoned Olenna to his office to ask her to split the bill for King Joffrey's wedding. In reality, Olenna Tyrell walks into this room and executes a flawless, bloodless assassination of Tyrion's entire reputation. In this video, we will break down the exact psychological tactics Olenna uses to dominate the room. We will explore a sociological concept known as Panem et circenses and unlock the brutal book lore behind the Tyrell supply chain. Let's cut into the dialogue and watch the Queen of Thorns dismantle the smartest Lannister alive. To calculate the atmospheric pressure of this office, we have to audit the political economy of King's Landing. Peter Baelish, the former Master of Coin, did not manage the treasury, he embezzled it. He borrowed millions of gold dragons to fund King Robert's tournaments, creating a labyrinth of debt. When Tyrion takes over the job, he is handed a ticking time bomb. Meanwhile, King Joffrey has demanded an outrageously expensive royal wedding. Tyrion cannot say no to the king, and he cannot ask his father Tywin for the money, because Tywin would view it as a failure. Tyrion's only play is to ask the bride's family, the ultra-wealthy Tyrells, to foot half the bill. He expects a standard, polite negotiation, but Olenna doesn't negotiate. She dominates.
God's boy, that's enough. We're not in a tavern.
Pardon me,
There's no
lady.
need to speak. Are there any figs? Fetch some.
This is Proxemic Disruption. Proxemic disruption is the deliberate violation or manipulation of a person's physical space and subordinates to assert psychological dominance. Tyrion is the hand's son. This is his office. Podrick is his squire. Yet, within 5 seconds, Olenna completely ignores Tyrion, commands his squire to stop pouring wine, silences the boy, and orders him to fetch fruit. She executes proxemic disruption. By commandeering Tyrion's staff right in front of his face, she is signaling, "Your authority does not exist in my presence." Tyrion is immediately reduced to a spectator in his own office.
I always take figs mid-afternoon. They help move the bowels. To what do I owe this summons?
This is scatological deflection. Scatological deflection is the strategic use of crude or bodily subjects to lower the perceived formality and importance of a meeting or opponent. Why is an 80-year-old aristocrat talking about her bowel movements to a man she barely knows? Because she is utilizing scatological deflection. Tyrion wants this to be a serious, high-stakes government meeting. By casually discussing her digestive tract, Olenna violently lowers the prestige of the environment. She is treating a meeting with the Master of Coin with the same gravity as a trip to the privy. She finishes with, "To what do I owe this summons?" putting Tyrion firmly on the defensive.
Thank you for seeing me, my lady. I had hoped we might discuss a few financial matters.
I climbed all those steps to discuss financial matters.
It's the royal wedding. Told you had a hand in planning it?
Naturally.
Tyrion starts with polite diplomacy. "Thank you for seeing me." Olenna immediately complains about the stairs, framing his request as an inconvenience. When Tyrion points out that she has been heavily involved in planning the wedding, she replies, "Naturally." She does not hide her interference, she owns it. She is openly admitting that she is designing the stage for her granddaughter's ascension.
It's shaping up to be a very involved affair. The word extravagant has been used.
What good is the word extravagant if it can't be used to describe a royal wedding?
Tyrion uses the word extravagant as a subtle criticism. In the vocabulary of an accountant, Extravagant means wasteful. But Olenna refuses his definition. She embraces the word. To Olenna Tyrell, a royal wedding isn't a party. It is a geopolitical broadcast. It is a chance to show the entire continent that the Lannister-Tyrell alliance possesses infinite, untouchable wealth. She understands that in a medieval society, visual extravagance is a form of military deterrence.
I understand that.
Good.
But as Master of Coin, it falls upon me to calculate the cost for the crown. As of now, it's huge expense.
And?
And we're at war, Lady Olenna.
Oh, I'd nearly forgotten.
Yes, and maintaining supply
I
lines.
can't think how it slipped my mind.
Tyrion plays the war card. This is usually the ultimate trump card in government negotiations. We are at war, we must tighten our belts. Olenna responds with dripping, venomous sarcasm. Oh, I'd nearly forgotten. She is mocking his assumption that a woman wouldn't understand military strategy. She lets him dangle on the hook of supply lines before she drops a mathematical nuclear bomb on his desk.
What is it, 12,000 infantrymen the Tyrell family has supplied? 1,800 mounted lancers? 2,000 in support. Provisions, so this city might survive the winter. 1,000,000 bushels of wheat, 500,000 bushels each of barley, oats, and rye. 20,000 head of cattle, 50,000 sheep. You don't have to lecture me about wartime expenses. I'm quite familiar with it.
This is asymmetric omniscience. Asymmetric omniscience is a negotiating state where one party possesses vastly superior, exact data compared to the other, creating an insurmountable intellectual advantage. This is the execution stroke. Tyrion thought he was the master of coin. Olenna proves that she is the master of coin. She recites the exact microscopic logistics of her family's military and agricultural output from memory. In the books, the Tyrell army is the only reason King's Landing hasn't starved to death or been sacked by Stannis. The Reach is the breadbasket of the continent. By listing these numbers, Olenna is delivering a brutal reality check. Your family isn't fighting this war, Tyrion. My family is funding it, fighting it, and feeding it. Do not ever attempt to lecture me on the cost of a pie.
And we are so grateful for your contributions, which are necessary for the preservation of the realm.
As is a royal wedding. The people are hungry for more than just food. They crave distractions. And if we don't provide them, they'll create their own. And their distractions are likely to end with us being torn to pieces. A royal wedding is much safer, wouldn't you say?
I would.
This is Panem et circenses. Panem et circenses is a Latin phrase meaning bread and circuses, a strategy of generating public approval, not by excellence in public service, but by diversion, distraction, and satisfying immediate, shallow requirements. This is Olenna's core political thesis. Remember what happened in Season 2? The citizens of King's Landing rioted. They literally tried to tear the royal family to pieces in the streets. Tyrion barely survived. Olenna is proving that she understands sociology far better than Cersei or Joffrey. She knows that you cannot suppress a starving population with swords alone. You must sedate them with theater. A lavish 77-course wedding is not a waste of money. It is a sociological bribe paid to the peasantry to keep them docile. Tyrion, recognizing the absolute, undeniable logic of this argument, simply concedes. I would.
And traditionally paid for by the royal family. I was told you were drunk, impertinent, and thoroughly debauched. You can imagine my disappointment at finding nothing but a browbeaten bookkeeper.
Olenna reminds him of the law, traditionally paid for by the royal family, before delivering a devastating personal critique. A browbeaten bookkeeper. This is profound emasculation. Olenna came to this meeting expecting the infamous demon monkey. She expected a rogue, a villain, a sharp-tongued monster. Instead, she found a tired, stressed, subservient middle manager who is terrified of his father. She is openly expressing pity for him. She is telling him that he has allowed Tywin Lannister to crush his spirit.
Where did you go for them? Volantis?
My lady.
Olenna completely dismisses Tyrion's attempt to speak and pivots back to the servant. She uses the arrival of the figs to reset the tension, casually mocking Podrick for taking too long. She treats the Master of Coin like background noise.
Oh, very well. I won't have it said the House Tyrell refuses to play its part. We'll pay for half the expenses, and the celebrations will go on as planned. Is that sufficient?
Quite sufficient, thank you.
Very good, then. That's settled. Good day.
Why does Olenna agree to pay? If she just proved that the crown is broke and she has all the leverage, why hand over half the gold? This is hegemonic philanthropy. Hegemonic philanthropy is the practice of voluntarily giving away wealth, not out of charity, but to establish dominance, create unpayable debts, and secure absolute control over an alliance. Olenna pays for half the wedding because she wants to own half the kingdom. By voluntarily bailing out the Lannisters, she ensures that Tywin can never publicly criticize House Tyrell. But there is a much darker, much more lethal reason she wants this wedding to be a massive, chaotic spectacle. Olenna is already plotting to assassinate King Joffrey at this exact wedding. She is paying for half of the event so she can control the venue, control the guest list, and control the chaos. She is literally buying the stage upon which she will commit the murder of the century. The aftermath of this financial negotiation is the most famous wedding in television history. The extravagance that Olenna defended in this room, the jugglers, the pie full of live doves, the sheer sensory overload provided the perfect distracting camouflage for her to slip poison into Joffrey's wine glass. She paid for the distraction, and she used it to kill a monster. What can we extract from this brilliant scene for the real world? This interaction is the ultimate case study in the golden rule of statecraft. He who holds the gold makes the rules. Tyrion Lannister was arguably the most intelligent man in King's Landing, but raw intellect is entirely useless when your opponent controls your supply chain. Olenna Tyrell didn't need to shout, threaten, or draw a sword. She simply placed the crown's exact financial and agricultural data on the table, proving that without her, the Lannister Empire would starve in a week. When you rely entirely on another entity for your survival, you are not their partner. You are their dependent. This scene represents the high watermark of House Tyrell's power. Olenna walked into the lion's den, patted the lion on the head, paid its rent, and walked out to prepare its funeral. She exposed the great myth of House Lannister. Tywin's reputation was built on intimidation, but Olenna proved that intimidation is a parlor trick when the grain silos are empty. Tyrion thought he was negotiating a catering bill. Olenna was auditing an empire. What do you think? Was Olenna Tyrell the smartest political operator in the series, or did she underestimate the madness of Cersei Lannister in the long run? Drop your verdict in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.